There was one before the Farbrengen. I want to see this story. I want to tell you before that story. I want to tell you another story. The rocket shovel was the Rav of the Chassidim in Dvinsk. The rocket shovel was the Rav of the Chassidim in Dvinsk. And the rocket shovel was a patient. Kislev Farbrengen, and he was the speaker, one of the speakers, the Rav, the Chassidic Rav. But he was pacing back and forth. So it came his turn. Finally, they called him up. Yeah, the Rav got up. So the Alter Rebbe hat aufgetan, am Meile die Kosten von Sakine Melutaschen. The Meile kann man essen, the Fleisch, gesunde Heid, gesagt. That's the Fleisch, gesunde Heid. There was a Yid. There was a Yid.
Eindag van Farbrengen en dat is een vlees van de Joden. Maar wij gaan met chocolade willen. Geven en dat kost een essenvlees. En dan nog gaan. Wat vinden jullie nou?
Dat is essenvlees.
Ja, maar nee,
dat is niet verstaan.
Nee, dat is dat. Ik ben nog twee lang begonnen. Als ik dan in korten, op de dag ga ik niet passen. You tell me maybe that is the way.
Steigen is ben één alleen we gaan ik heb een stuk dat graag nog maar moet ik daar gaan we.
I don't know if he left the room or he left the podium.
Ja, ik dacht ik van je.
Ja, de mensen te zijn naar die.
So
allemaal die hebben gezien.
So, but that is our maestro. What happened to show?
This is place.
Nee, je dat niet, juist de hele tijd.
Wat? Waar is het?
Ja, die niet. Ook een En het amazing.
There was a Yid.
Dit is weer kwijt.
We gaan hem mensen. We moeten het zien. We gaan de ruimte. We gaan de namen van de banen. Shalom, the way you.
Right? There was a Jew. I heard two versions. If he was. What do you bring up here? Candy? Okay. So there was a Yid here. I heard he was from Toronto. Another version I heard was from Jersey. A Yid in the early years, very suspicious of that.
Yeah. Back to the problem while we hit something here.
I'm blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved it as it's he would come into every den that ever forgot Shabbos Mizarchim. He would come every Shabbos Mizarchim to the Farbrengen. Either from Toronto, from New Jersey. So Shabbos morning, he had a flight. He would fly in and come, rent the car.
Shabbos morning you would take the flight.
Take the flight and come to the Farbrengen. He would come to the Rebbe's Farbrengen and what he would do. Still came one Shabbos and the Rebbe went in. And the Rebbe started demanding from him, this
is going. Each story is going back to Zal and front. Okay.
And then
yeah, we can see that's how it works.
We komen uit de Rome. Kom hier. Van mij komen dat. Klausur ist echt verwaschen, aber das nicht mehr.
Chaim Brach.
Possiamo non fare,
Today is the day for all the brachas. Chaim. One Shabbos, every Shabbos, you have to give
I used to Shabbos in the street, but they'll never enough plane. I'm coming from Toronto to the work.
once a month.
Eenmaal. Okay. Ik heb het niet nog. Die meisten, das war, also nicht am besten, aber
so many things in this Kislev. I want to spend a few minutes. I've been thinking about today's.
I have some houses. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Mine is about okay. Nee, de jonge dag, de rest van
Okay,
So today's chitas, right? With this Kislev, we learn chitas.
Yeah.
What's today's chitas? Sharblat. Askomna, Tzvika, Askomna.
Copyrights.
What?
Copyrights. Nee, de schrijver, de ganze Zwiebel, die schrijven, bij I'm going
Yeah. What does it learn? What are we supposed to take out of today's Kislev? What are we? And this is Yitzhak Kislev. And question is stronger. Thus, comments are we reading? First two, of Yudel Gaprayim, the position. Somebody Hamagit. Yitzhak Kislev. When I was in Boca, California, we had a Farbrengen Kislev. And we had a guest speaker. The guest speaker was a Yid, I think if I remember correctly, his name was Rottenberg. A Polish name, questions of Yid, a vice above. And he gave a long speech. And he was speaking about Talmidei HaMagid, Yad Kislev and Talmidei HaMagid, and right to Talmidei HaMagid. Thank you very much. I'm still in school. Finally, I took this out and started seeing you. So come and go without the rest of the mama go with this, but I'm not giving up. And I guess that some better wife was there. And I just got up and walked out. Hey, but I got too much. But what's them gebaut is jetzt Kislev is out there. Here we come. What do we learn? Jetzt Kislev. Jetzt Kislev says na the Chassidim didn't have time to make a Chalukas Hashas. They didn't have time. How long does it take a Chalukas Hashas? How long does it take? You're sitting by a Farbrengen, there's 50 people, pass out the papers, pass them back. What? Yeah, put it back. What's going to decide to make a Chalukas Hashas? They didn't have a second because they were busy. It's was saying. On was tut mit das Kislev, we're learning Haskamas. Fine, it's beautiful things, but why is that part of our learning time? So let's start with the Sharba. It's also part of this. What are the Farum Rebbe Heitige Chita? That's what this Kislev. Now the Rebbe starts off. This Chita starts off as a sefer. Hello, Yisrael. Now is open your heart, open your ears. Let's we have a instruction. We could awaken ourselves, we could inspire ourselves, we could elevate ourselves, and that's going to have a change on our whole year. But we have to take advantage. We have to stay in Hecher. If this Kislev is we're able to be in a Hecher in mind the matter. Yeah. So the Rebbe starts off the first words of today's Chitas, Sefer Lekutei Amorim. Was heißt das Sefer Lekutei Amorim? Was meint Sefer?
Genau.
Ask ourselves, yeah. I had a chance today, and I'm going to get my sheets. What would I use out the sheets? We all have our needs. What would I use out? What would I be asking for? We would give anything, yeah? For a chance, for a moment, for a yechidus. But what would we use it for? Of course, every chassid went into yechidus and he got everything that he needed and all the brachas, the gashmis, the ruchnis. But what was yechidus? The union of yechidus was eitzes and avedus Hashem, like the Rebbe says in the Abdom of Tanya. The Friedrich Rebbe wanted to stop yechidus because he said people are coming in and asking only about gashmis. He said, "Nicht das ist yechidus. Avade da from back ich hab gashmis." One of the Einikach of the Alter Rebbe went to yechidus once, and he wrote a pan. The Yanuk from Avedus Hashem only, and the Alter Rebbe was upset. The Alter Rebbe said, "Hoy ruchnis." What about that? Has to be got. Why? Because by a chassid the gashmis that ich coming for them. But not because the point of Yechidus is Gashmis. The point of Yechidus is to connect with our Yechidus Shabbat, to connect, to awaken, and to inspire, and to fix up our Avedus Hashem. And there were Chassidim who didn't ask about Gashmis. And there were Chassidim who went for years in Yechidus and Zechkemuchitz and Parnas, a lot of stories. And they didn't speak about their Gashmis to Kenis, because they're having forgotten. Because when they were in the Rebbe Daldamis, the Gashmistic Chesreines, they forgot about it. It wasn't, they weren't conscious of it. And others, they bekavana, they intentionally omitted it because they didn't want to be Messiah or whatever. They didn't speak about Gashmish. There was a story actually. There was a chassid from Montreal, a young man who was in Yechidus, and he gave him his pan. And he forgot to ask for parnas. The story was about there, but he went to prison with the Shras, he forgot to ask about parnasa. The Rebbe was reading. He said to himself, "What's with parnasa? God, take a mission. Chassid. Oi, it's the shocking. This is a chance you get your children to one place and you miss it. Oi, so the Rebbe said, "Back the shades of Parnasa Barachava." This man was a sheikh in Montreal, and that year there was overhaul in the Schlachtes. They got rid of the what's it called? The higher management. The higher management. Yeah, okay. They got rid of the management, and so there was extra money. But at the end of the story, each sheikh got $6,000 extra. $6,000 for him, and then Masach got more. Then, as I vergessen zu wetten, that the Rekorde nach Aggressive und Brache wie Alma. So from then he used to ask, ich glaube, Parnasse die Rebbe verstehen. Because he said, das ist der Emerson Brache. But I could ponder, Batman, was geht man auf Yechidus? A Yechidus is because we care about being Chassidim, about being Yidden. We care about serving the Eibishter, Avedas Hashem, Ava V'yira. Und wenn es geht nicht, für was geht das nicht? Weil der Nefesh HaBahamis steht am Kerim. So that's what Yechidus was for. But Yekusiel Lepler, the Alter Rebbe, one of the big Chassidim of the Alter Rebbe was Yekusiel Lepler. First Yechidus of the Alter Rebbe, he said to the Alter Rebbe, ich kann mit dem nicht einkommen, hack mir auf die linke Seite. The Rebbe said, "But that's what Yechidus was. That you have a struggle with the linke side. All the other things good, but Derech Memela, also our Gashmis has to be connected with the Rebbe."
It's just a simple thing. Everything is good from there.
What? No, the Rebbe didn't accept that. That's not the way. That's not the way. That's the Polish way. That's the Polish way. The Chabad way is Mevare seinem, Meile seinem, Übermachen. I like trachten sich in ein Wort Chassidus hat gedekach, that in a Feshabahamis kommt ich Shabbos. That's all the Kislev Mamar, the Pater Bishalim. What is a chassid going to Yechidus for? Because he struggles. Because Amal Kuntla San Shalem is all davening, and we have a difficulty, we have a challenge to push away the Machshavas Zaros. V'chulu, Yodem ish benafshe. Sagt Alter Rebbe, the erste Sach, the Sefer is Lukuti Amorim. That this is the answers. If I would go into Yechidus, I would be looking for an answer. And we have this gave Alter Rebbe b'ksav to us the answers of what to do and how to deal with these issues. And das is midas kaladam achrea kaladam yimshek. So we come get this Kislev, yeah. Was krecht?
It's either I didn't understand it or we're not kaladam. Not you. No, now what you're saying.
No, Himshech, wir wollen Himshech werden, aber...
So the first thing is you have to know when I will say the two bank funds, just before that. years ago. Motzei Shabbos is very important. They have every year. Motzei Shabbos in Kislev. They have a whole big. No. It's in the hall. They have a big thing before you Kislev. Thousands of people.
You speak by that the event by the Shabbos.
2 years ago. I didn't start up.
Yeah, so yeah, you were saying.
There's thousands of Strangler, of Uphats, Pelisha, and a few of them came over to me afterwards because I was one of the people in the little babish there to tell me how Chassidus enriched their lives. That nothing worked. They didn't get the tools. They didn't get the help. Yeah.
So to deal. When you want to go on a diet, when somebody wants to go on a diet, so it's very exciting in the beginning, and you can lose the first 100 pounds. Whatever it is, easily because you're excited about it. The last 10 pounds, it's almost impossible to see you because you have no motivation. All the good things, all the inspiration you already used out.
You're right.
You know it all.
It's harder.
That's the problem.
We have it.
This is us.
We.
Yitzchak, who has Benedictine now? Doug.
like a side WhatsApp I have it in my house. One side I have my house. I said huh? No, you didn't put the thing? Huh? Well, come to me, close the door.
Here we have a set of shovel. We're here. Talking about what would I look for if I could go today? Shalom said, some people will go into Yechidus and ask, what's my shlichus?
Why am I here?
Yeah, what's my purpose?
People didn't really go to the
Not
that.
No, not now. The previous, okay, so 1 second. Previous debate, that wasn't the question, you first
No,
said this.
no.
It was understood. Ayyamin says that from that Ayyamin, that Yechidus.
But still, you're breaking the Shem.
You understood.
What's your mission?
Set you what your mission. If they ever say,
Yeah,
whatever
you did
they
a
ever.
Chonus for 50 years before the Yechidus, maybe.
You want to know what's the mission?
Okay.
You started Mubavitch. What's the, how does the Hayyimin start? It wasn't
No, that's not the same anymore, but I understand. It's described as, okay, I never.
Wasn't
I
it-
never.
you did a Chonus for how many years before he went to
You had the Reuven that just heard that reminded me that his first Yichidus, the was reading this thing and they says, first stopped it. Because they told him that the first thing that he ever tells you, that's it's very significant. It was only years later, they never commented on that. It was years later when I read and came close, that's the shortest to go back to track. He works on the traffic.
What's this, sir?
That's the main.
Chaim.
Okay.
I want to first share with you. I started off with another question. What's the haskamas that we're bringing today? Today is on the sun's also. And the here. It's like me. What are we learning about? Have you read about Kayan and Expressions of Thomas and Kislev? Under the Talmudi Amavir, Bechlav, was good. Es steht da Wort in Sinnung, es steht Top von Wort, und es ist Rashi Tevis, Tanya Ketevis, Shlomo Veruach. So that's why we're learning the Chitas today. When we could be learning Tanya, there's a lot of Vertlach. What? Huh? What?
They didn't bring it up there. They did.
What are we supposed? I don't know the answer to.
What's your learning? What's your learning?
But there's a story. There's a story. The meiste steht da weg. That Altigab is sent three Chassidim. So that in the labor Kayan and Surah Zusha. The person they ask Thomas of Tanya. So the three Chassidim left over the Kislev by them overnight. They took it over. So they helped them with that structure. They do
Yeah. But it's not funny to think. You could trace something and looking after the side of that. It's a question in a Slicha form or in a Kuntis form. I'm not going to move you.
Yeah. It says it like this. They both were reading the Tanya. And each one of them got in ganzen the spirals from the Tanya ad kedei kach as lo haya maitzer beruchen. They couldn't hold themselves in, and they ran to the other one to tell him what he thought. So they met in mitten gas. Yeah, they met. They the Lashon steht da ganz anipoli hat gebrannt. They both lived in they ganz anipoli hat gebrannt. That's the story that says in connection with the two Askamas. Doesn't mean ganz anipoli hat gebrannt. What was anipoli? Yeah. There was no as in nicht gewählt kein Phone, as in nicht gewählt kein Phones, as in nicht gewählt kein pizza shops. But it was still part of Elam Haza, that Elam Haza b'muhusei, v'yatzmusei, v'atzmei, v'acheshach, kapul, v'chopus, v'elam, v'lashin, helam, v'hester, as his mylum, u'master, v'alakos. That's the essence and the nature and the characteristic of every point and every corner and every part of Elam Haza. What happened when these two Talmidei Hamagid read the Prakim of Tanya on Arayin and our spirals from them? What was the result? What was the outcome? As Anipali had Kibret, that right away there was a result. The Tanya is not going to remain passive. It's going to burn away this cheshach, this helam, v'hester, and alakus. That is the automatic outcome of Elam Haza. Baruch haba. Baruch haba. We learn to gesund. Herz du, Yitzhak Tzvi, learn me a sharp blood from Tanya. It's not a good answer, I'm sure there's better answers, but I can't think of anything better. Learn the sharp blood from Tanya, listen. And we learn that there's Likuti Amorim, that this is answers, because we have problems, we should have problems. We're bothered, we want to serve the Eibishter. We want to win over our Nefesh HaBahamis. There must stop. And there's answers, there's solutions, there's a derech harucha, tzara, Bezras Hashem Yisparach, that's spelled out, B'rachel, B'tzchak Tana, pelek after pelek, through line after line,
Nice part, Tanya. Adada, Rosh, Meshukis. B'chol Hashem,
you're more important.
But come on, all of them was right. That not 1, 2, 3. That's the one place you feel that I'll never got us.
Then we knew that anyway. Yeah.
My father said is the best one is the whole field. Okay. Sure.
Whatever it is.
The whole thing. That's the only thing about it.
But he's all telling certain people that he's talking about us. Adada, Rosh, Meshukis. The Emes.
If your excitement,
How could I ever understand?
if your excitement about that line makes a difference in your Avodas Hashem, whichever line it is, it's all good lines. Whatever, when we're using them for what God is for, that is for Likutei Amorim. That's the words that we're getting in our Yechidus. As we soll sich kennen, zustellen zu Yechidus Shamanefah. As we stop King Zach, was when we start off, that there's Likutei Amorim. And this is our Sefer Shalbeinin, this is the average. This is Midas Kolod, Vachreach Kolod, Yimshech. And it's doable, and it's reachable. It says Koreh Lecha, Dovam Me'ed. Und es ist a derech harucha taka, aber es ist harucha ksara. Und der Eibishter helft, ist bei Ezras Hashem Yisparach. Davon wissen wir, that when you learn it, and you read it, and you get excited about it, brennt was the Shalom Behester, then the world turns, then the Cheshach becomes illuminated, that becomes transformed, and becomes changed. So we have to know that. When I see others, because they're not because they're supposed to learn Siddur. They get harassed, right? When I was a bacher, so David Oberman took me to someone comes to learn Siddur in Lakewood. He said to me, walk half a block behind me. Went to Alpre, I said, go. He was always there, yeah. Easy to forget, like everything had to be based on Bahaltenay. You had to go to Machtel. No, it was a one-on-one. He took me to the guy to learn with me. They lived there. One of them was Lubavitcher. He lived there, but then was guilty. What?
I know who built it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What? What?
Whatever it was, but these people are learning not because they're supposed to, not because they have to, because they're risking and they're sacrificing. As he did say, but this changes, but it works. Let me just come and cook. Rav Yudaleva came and das gelegen. Rav Zusha das gelegen. Du ganz alle Fälle hat gebrannt. Learn the Perek, let us am wegbrennen. Our whole problem is as a hell of a hester. As he said, that when we get up in the morning, when we start to hello, there was two chassidim, and they're talking about Mashiach. What's the time of Mashiach? Two chassidim, so one chassid said to the other, what's the Mashiach? Man wird sich stellen, davenen, und man wird sich davenen. Man wird sich stellen. Today we get up and we start some davenen. Und great Kurdish.
Not Kurdish in Yiddish.
Yeah, you know what?
Dat is dat ze daar zeggen wat de Mashiach is schon gekommen.
Oh, today?
Ja. Oh, dus dat die was daar te bezig.
Start the
Ja, was ist das?
It's like, oh, they work. They work. If you don't work, then it's baloney. That's how people should have. It's impossible. What's the story? Maybe that's the How do we pick ourselves up higher?
How do we pick
ourselves up higher?
We're all waiting for the punchline. We want an easy pill.
What do we have to say?
Dat gaan ook op zelf dan.
Hello.
Ja.
You answer me. Miss Davening. There was a mashpia, I forget. Shayl, look after next when the Bachar would sing this meeting, he screamed at him. Said, what are you singing? Vazal mitanas daven. He said, sing Vazal mitanas mit daven nicht. Nicht the daven sich nicht. Weil du daven sich nicht. Was davenen, was sich davenen. Not gonna daven, what?
What is daven?
Daven means, the Rebbe said, I told you, that's what I said, the story. The Rebbe said, es kann sein, as Faraich is schwer. It's not easy. There's an easy way. You know what the easy way is?
Is het dan?
No. You know what the easy way is? The easy way is the Polish way. But they don't have to work for their davening. Take a piece of fish, name a bissel shirayim, chapa aserios. You know, I'm in a master's loyal case of Kleinish, the Davenish, I'm a shepherd king. That's my only advantage. And so I get the WhatsApps and I look at the WhatsApps and I think, and I got a WhatsApp yesterday, 2 days ago. I don't know what it was. 6 minutes, right? After of a bunch of Polish and a few Snagden singing Vani Aftachbach. Singing Vani Aftachbach. And there's one guy in the front with the up hat holding a cup of wine and going like this, and with his hand. Vani Aftachbach for 6 minutes. Vani Aftachbach. Then he told them to whistle. The guy. And they're singing and they're jumping and they're dancing. Vani Aftachbach. But it's exciting. There's easy to get a quick fix, and it's real. And for them, that is exactly what the Alter Rebbe means in the Shabbat Tanya. That there is a derech that's a derech tzara. It's tzara v'arucha, like the Rebbe explains. It's tzara. You could get a quick fix. They get it. They go get it. It's not real. They gotta say they get excited and they says derech tzara v'arucha.
What's the arucha?
Why is it arucha? Because when there's an obstacle, what's the Rebbe explains baricha? It's like the Gemara. What's my derech tzara v'arucha? It's shorter, but you get stuck in the way, and then the gate is right there. There's nothing between. So when there comes
not nothing.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, that's
So much fellowship within us.
Why Chas v'Shalom? Wait.
I can't say 80 can say that time. What?
Yeah, so let me quantify that statement. Chas v'Shalom to say that, I got to say $80. I didn't say anything negative.
Very, very.
But
Not the there's nothing more. There's nothing more.
How is it possible to have any pneumistic connection with Rakut? There's only one way, and that's learning Chassidus, Ba'avana, Chassidus, Chabad, Ba'avana, V'asaga. One of them about the Rebbe makes a nefesh about. One of them grabs and makes it Kislev, and either you have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, you're a great guy. There's a sign here.
What you're speaking now is very right. I agree with you. But I'm a blind man and I don't sit all the time. I know what that means.
Don't worry, he was blind. He was a man.
One second, but you hear the voice.
I hear the voice.
It's not, there's no such a thing. There's no. That's what Alter Rebbe was Miyasif Chassidus Chabad for. There was the Chassidus HaKlalos and Alter Rebbe. That was the Makif. Pnimius could only happen one way, and Alter Rebbe gave us that. And after that, was the Mesiras Nefesh for Yitzchak Kislev, and that was the Kitrug, and that was the Gilui of Yitzchak Kislev. And the second Gilui of the second Kitrug, and the Yud Kislev, to make it more Barachava and Rechevis Hanar. All for one thing, to give us the tool and the ability to learn a Maimer Chassidus Ba'erech U'Verechev U'Ve'emek, to verstehen Das Alekei Avicha with every detail, with every aspect, with our seichel, in order it should permeate every part of our existence. Then it's a part of us, and without that, you could be the holiest Jew. You can tanzen, you can schreien, you can smeinen, you can have Ava V'yira. You can get excited, aber Pnimius, that's what we got. Pnimius is only Chabad. And that's what we have on Yud Kislev. That's the Uyr, the Chayas Nafsheinu together. And where does it make a difference? That's the Derech Tzara Varucha. Everything is good and fine. The other way works also. Until Amal Vert Chas V'Sholem, like the Rebbe brings the Gemara.
Wie eens de agitsenberg. Je kan mensen waar een gezetenberg. Ik snap de chicken bubble.
1 second.
I'm sorry, I didn't bubble. I don't mean
Let's translate those words. As the achitzim, I think like etzem and the shom is achitzim.
Exactly.
Oh, so it's not achitzim but etzem. Elamai,
Then Google that you can put in the bed. When you say if I have to make bets, he makes bets of facts. Then he will make bets that this guy is not this guy is not going to become a TV in this group.
Aber mit kommen wir immer Farbrengen und wir können.
You can say but I would bet all of my life savings. The Babbage is very sure. Maar dat vergeet de mensen.
Ja, aber
daar mensen met een getraind werken, een paar mensen met een vrienden werken, een paar mensen zijn in niet gezien gappen brengen daar, of kunnen brengen daar. But this 10% of people, bij Wagner, we have a world of this. There's 80% of the world center, and there's 10% in Baton.
I disagree with you,
okay,
but I have a riot. But I have a riot. What's the riot?
There's 10% who are claiming that everything from Antwerpen.
Hold on a second. I want to interrupt you with a story.
Thank you for coming here. Thank you for bringing me here.
Pinchas raises his taxes, Ben Abhenach Mishklav. Abhenach Mishklav went to the Alter Rebbe. Sein Sohn is gefahren nach Chassid. And listen, what could you do? If you can't beat him, join him. No. My father, Olav Hashalom, Seif Yomov, my father had a very big problem. He had a few of his children, King Babiches.
All of them.
Not yet. But then, and what? But are still left?
Two, the brothers.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Okay,
The
younger generation.
It could be their own, they could speak for themselves. The Seif Yomov, in his later years, he was saying a few times, this says, kids are Babiches. Most of his kids have been. Already he was thinking, come to Babiches, just zusammen, to be together as a kid. Space coming, he got sicker. I just come in.
They say they disagree with things.
Oh, so Abhenach Mishklav, sein Sohn ist gefahren nach Chassid. He went to the Alter Rebbe. I went to the Alter Rebbe, the installed him. So, then he went to Chiddush and said to the Alter Rebbe, Machmir for a Chassid. Finished, he's ready to become a Chassid. Not because he wanted to, by him it wasn't because he wanted to be with his son, it was because he saw that Darkness Pnimius, darkness Emes, darkness Holocaust. That's where it's valued because that's the only place where it's worthwhile to be in the world. He said to the Alter Rebbe, Machme Farachase. So the Alter Rebbe said to him, "Du kennst dich." He said, your neshama doesn't come from the special cement into the cement. Tit. Tit into the Kislev carpet was von dem ist gemacht geworden, the neshamas von Tzimmer. Yassel Fegel has found a mocker to such a lush, she wants to. Oh, 1 second, I forgot. I was in the middle of telling you a story before. There was a Yuttas Kislev Farbrengen in Brunois once. You hear, Yossi, there was a Yuttas Kislev Farbrengen in Brunois once. And Yisrael Meach was there, and he was sick. Yeah, but then he was sick. And he was very sick, and he was sick to the point that he was crying out in pain during the Farbrengen. But this gestört the Farbrengen. So they had him brought to a side room. And Rabbi sent some Bachim to sit with him. And in between the Yisurim, what they forgot to say. So during the Farbrengen, one of the things that they said was he said by his interrogation, he was an interrogator. The interrogators in Russia, the Caliph was a King Tzadikim. But he said, Alto Piquet, his interrogator was a Russian, even with God the interrogator. One day in the interrogation, he says to me, you know what my name is? My name is Nemenov, the Nissen's brother.
Wow.
Was that today? The Nissen was God, no pnimi be'etzem. There's a chassid who takes advantage of das, was wir gibt uns, und das, was wir macht bei uns, und macht sich. Und haben wir nicht weiter Rahman al-Plan, Arashim al-Mushar. There's no chitzim be'etzem. They like siddhis, but when a chassid macht the siddhir. However, Rab Henoch Mishklav, the Alter Rebbe said,
That's a story.
but I think there's also.
I was in Berlin, it's only a little story. Yeah. I really think look at some of mine.
I'd be a time.
No, that's the Alter Rebbe.
I told you.
I will show translate.
So he spoke about this.
I don't know. Not a most, not a segregated. The room I do not hear. I only heard. I thought my mama was the Adam Behema. But the girl, my brother, was also some of it. That's I do.
Yeah, okay.
Historical facts. I was in Mullah. What's up to some of me, but my mama got it.
But you hear no such thing. He wasn't born a Queen.
Come on.
Hello.
Today, though my mother, always say, Zelben Captain Mama, one kid is up to me, one kid is born with fullness of only unbelievable. You're denying this fact?
Yeah.
My pleasure. Mein Chabad doet anders. Mijn Chabad doet echt anders. Mijn vriend doet echt anders. Mijn man doet anders.
Finish my part.
I know it's not your word, but I must tell you that my Chabad book,
But
there are certain
I
people
don't
who are pnimi, and there are certain people that say,
Ja, ich hab das Nissens Bruder gegeben, ich hab das nicht.
nein,
Aber sein
wir
Ding
machen
ist, der ist gewinnt.
hallo, Captain Jenne, Captain Jenne, okay,
Aber die bleibt in Stanning.
you mach schon weg. Papa, this I will not cut out.
Aber die bleibt in dem. Es ist gewinnt nicht.
There's a certain point that you don't.
So is going.
So is going.
Aber ich war mehr erzählt, dass ein Bruder gewinnt, Mama schon.
Ja, sollten wir nicht. Aber das, was? Aber die erst zu hart.
Why can't it be as nature as Africa?
Yeah, it could be against the river. I'm best schlimm, fantastisch. I'm best lobsters. The slum, come on, the other piece of the hour.
But you don't like the way they look, not because
No.
in those days.
Mr. Marker, I miss you. Why did you come so late? I didn't see that. I'll give you a
One story there is from the Yosef. He said when he was married, he sure used to make every sukkah.
cross line.
He sure every sukkah says, every trade and after sukkahs used to make a Farbrengen. Sure.
Thanks.
The book
Well, Braft is better.
says this stuff.
Oh, there is a Mendel for them. Mendel was die goed moet gaan. In nacht op een ring te zwemmen. Mijn zwaarschwieger. Donja schwieger. Zo. Je kent die idee. Ik kom al een stukje al quasi voor mensen. En we stingen aan top of the wall and the whole. Next year, my father was a hard-working man. Baruch Hashem, stopped at the woods, the album Simcha. He didn't have. But the future, he took the dollar, he built a sukkah in the back, and made a big sukkah. En je hebt een gasten gehad. Om met hem al is diep. Men de fotograaf. I don't get into details. He left. He has to say to them to go. I has to say to them took over. Here's his job. I have to sit there. The more this man started talking to me. Unser Gott hat the Blut. If it doesn't cost nothing, there's nothing. And he went into details. I'm not going to say the Farbrengen here. I don't remember it. I don't know it. But I'm standing there and I'm saying, you know, you're so right. It doesn't cost. Take a pill, the more better I've been in it. You need groceries, even though I don't think today anybody will take this pill. But anyway, that's
Why not?
Because it happens to be, our moon is not so big. Takes the pill. We're gonna debate this tomorrow. Tonight, it's Kislev, we have to believe in Jews. Because tonight, it's Kislev, we have to, we have to be, I really don't think that if somebody took today, you so good, in Crown Heights, now you take this pill, the most of it I've been in it. I was well in Gashmias. I don't think there will be too many buyers. My personal.
You would buy it.
What? Of course you would buy if it's a button.
A baby pill? I would think a McDonald's. I would think a
Be
baby
a
pill.
millionaire, but it's not, wouldn't be Chabad.
I would even, and I can tell you, I would be a poor man. I don't think most people would.
Vaharaya, as I would publish it up, isn't it millionaires? That's the pill that
But they don't sell this pill. Canadian is geworden, aber im Gashmias geworden.
He doesn't believe the word. It's a placebo.
No, I'm talking about pill. I'm talking
Maar
about
de Belgische Rabbijns, ook een best wel een pil. Zeer pil is Warum darf ich das? Du bist noch Hasserbeine.
Oh, das ist der beste Platz. Dann tun wir hier. Kom je doen in zich, waarom wil je niet?
Chaim. What was the tea? You said-
Anyway, ik moet zeggen, I'm never know. Before I come out, I verbracht Kislev. En met die schreeuwen ga ik doen en op de goede samen bij hem.
Stop even.
I'm not here to have to minimize Kislev, but I want to tell you that he look. Kislev is we. Like Spanish, back of Farbrengen, Porsche, as he was in the Gila, that's every year he read the whole story of die een van de zaken waar alle denken, deze morgens wie, deze bent best big an hour, because he said it was so rare. From a spider, it started shaking like that, like a lula, and I think you make about how much you discussed with
Have you been next week?
his time with him was unbelievable. But in each fight discussed what the next film is good. Each fight with time was what making you. And I remember in my fantasy, and I will never say this in as he given, of me gaan, at that year, he said the Baruch HaShagalono, Shem Malchus, but yeah, what could be, I was so confused that I heard Shem Malchus. I will not say this as a witness. But in my fantasy, he did say Shem Malchus. And it's I can't tell you, like unbelievable. Only and I was no masking. Because he elevated us. I was there by the Farbrengen. I said, go along.
Ik wil die schrijven van.
And what's called this is a nice story.
Wauw. Je bent avond.
Bestaat stamos in Kislev. Dat weet ik Kislev.
Eenzaam. Wij de eten dan steden.
We waren bij drukte, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet for the next time.
I have to show. The people complain. I told you, I see what the people are looking at. What the Farbrengen? And everyone, every chassid, but you see, mamish, the same is by every chassid, by every year. But I saw people complaining, no online Farbrengen. Every online Farbrengen, it's a show, it's a performance, it's Farbrengen. Right, a Farbrengen, good, Farbrengen, Farbrengen, L'chaim, L'bracha.
I love you. The rest of the night. Ik zou de helft van de bonen gaan, meteen in de rivier gaan bekomen. Kijk er maar naar.
Yeah. So I thought it was your story.
What? Sure.
He said it's good. Oh, that's no. He said Osher for some. Okay, that's Hitler. If you don't work, it doesn't any point. We said the same thing. If you don't work, you don't listen.
What does it mean? What does it mean? The premise.
If somebody don't
What does it mean today?
Somebody don't
It means you want to be a chassid. It's take alle Sachen. So in order for that, after everything, nach der alle Farbrengen und the Tanzen und the Nigudim and the Zooms and the Meises, after that has to be implemented. What does that mean? It means I have to wake up in the morning and work to understand something in Avar Chassidus, in a Perektanya. I have to work to think about it, to make it meaningful to me. I have to work that what I'm saying, a word in davening, the word in davening penetrates my heart because it's influenced by what I'm learning about Chassidus. Yeah. And if I'm not working on it, then that's a with I could get
I heard Can you imagine that all of a sudden Taylor is not at all? Taylor is a simcha. Taylor makes you pleasure. No. You just have simcha. Hallo. Let me tell you. You can't even from. Aber kein Sorge sagen. Nobody ever said mitzvahs. Mitzvahs are all. How is Taylor? Don't really go down. Learning Taylor, the simcha is nicht schön small. If I know das Doktor, dass wir Poshet haben, und lernen Taylor. Davon war Simcha Poshet Agashmi.
What you're saying is correct. However, I'm sorry, yeah. Taylor is Geschmack. Taylor ist Geschmack.
Das ist für mich das zum Beispiel.
Und dann sagt
Aber jetzt hast du deine Kreise machen gesund.
Taylor ist Geschmack. Und Taylor darf lernen mit der Geschmack. But Alter Rebbe brings us beyond that. V'vay v'heitev eichu karev ma'oi b'ficha u'b'lvavcha la'aseisei. What means b'lvavcha? That I care and I feel just like I want. Ich habe lieb. That is naturally close to them, and he loves them, and he feels for them, and he's drawn toward them. Also und ich weiß, as a mitzvah, first of all, is tzavsu b'chibur, so therefore I'm being connected with the Eibishter. Und noch mehr, a mitzvah is the ratzon from the Eibishter. So whether I care about my connection or not, but I'm happy, was the Eibishter will. So that's something, was das is the größte Geschmack, like the Rebbe says, gebrot the Stadel, was Rabbi wie immer, the Rachim lein Yasser Migami, the Ruchim in the Shmosek. So Avad, the Torah is the Geschmack, in my nefesh of Bahamas has the joy, but mix it together. Yeah, that's correct. That's what I said. That's a different Geschmack. Yeah. You are 100% Geschmack. And Chassidus.
Nein! Mitzvahs gibt es mehr Mitzvahs noch.
Absolutely going to give it to us. You don't say it.
Bagani.
No, the good.
High distance flights, long distance
Cameron, let's sing together.
Chaim Lebrocha. Chaim. First of all, we can't deviate Chas v'Shalom from the Nekuda. The Nekuda is Matachalez gebracht. I didn't say it, you said it, that we have to work. Right? We have to work. That means Kislev has to make a practical change Everyone has to figure out what is for me. I have to go out of my comfort zone. You have to go out of your comfort zone. But we have to know what am I doing and what am I demanding for myself to learn tomorrow morning, that wake up in the morning and learn an extra half hour, extra 20 minutes, an extra hour, delay, whatever it is, to learn and understand and think and implement and internalize and bring the Pnimius Avart Chassidus in a way that we have a personal and Pnimius connection with Das, Alekei, Avicha, and Heifen as das bringt zu Vavdeyu B'Leiv Shalom. And we know, everybody knows, Yada Inish B'Nafshay, what he's shaykh to. We all know where we're cutting corners, Chas v'Shalom. We all know where we're not maybe living up to the expectations of what's supposed to be done, whether in learning the shiurim hakfuim, whether in learning the additional shiurim chassidus. This Kislev has to be practically that the oir v'chayis nafshenu that was given to us, that we have an advantage, that we learn chassidus, that we learn nach hamaymer, nach hakdiyos, nach hashir, and verstehen das and see how that makes a change in our lives. But the great wegen das Kommes from Tanya, yeah. So we have the Askomos of Rav Zusha and Rav Yideli Bakoyim, and then the Askomos of the sons of the Alter Rebbe. And there is Eich da Avart, yeah? There is not the same question, but also like that's Chitas, learning it, epistaf living in them, yeah? Besides that we're not, that we don't, that we're not to print the Tanya, yeah? Huh? The Rebbe speaks about the diuk that each one of the sons wrote a different title. But the Mitzvah Rebbe refers to the Alter Rebbe as Kadesh Yisrael. Rab Chaim Avram refers to the Alter Rebbe as Maran of Rabbana. And but not Kadesh Yisrael. And the Alamesha as Agayna Chassid. With another different, so there's 3 different biurim that I saw. One biur, famous biur, is that each one understood in the Alter Rebbe laid line down. The Mitzvah Rebbe is given a Rebbe. At the head in the Alter Rebbe Kadesh Yisrael, he wrote on the Alter Rebbe Kadesh Yisrael. Rab Chaim Avram was a Rav. At the head in the Alter Rebbe Maran of Rabbana. Rav Moshe was a chassid, so he had what? Chaim Avram.
Are you saying?
Yeah, right.
Das stimmt. Du gedenkst anders. Du gedenkst anders.
Nicht nur wo soll ich bin auch.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
The second beer says a little different in Chassidus, where it says from Shir B'Sefer Chaim. Check it out. There's Shalom.
Yeah.
I got up in the morning. Yeah. At least today, I learned today's Chassidus with Chassidus Mevueres. I pushed myself to learn it with Chassidus Mevueres.
Is that black Tanya? What's the
The tones are going to say
Don't say it's the black Tanya?
the tones are going to say this.
Yeah. I want to. You better get up in the morning and you learn Chassidus before you do anything else. Before davening for sure. I just said to people before davening, learn the Tanya from the tongue. And if we learn the Tanya from the day, learn it better. Learn the
After before davening?
I spoke Tanya before davening. Demanded from people. There was a Chassidus was supposed to be right. That's not nice. What?
What do you want? What's
There says a second view. That each one similar to this, but the part there says different. That each one said because Reb Chaim Avram was a Rebbe, so therefore he said he was made that. I'm sorry, Reb Mittler Rebbe was a Rebbe, so therefore you have to say, made the Emes Rebbe is Alter Rebbe Kadesh Yisrael. Chaim Avram was a Rav, so he said the Emes Rebbe is Alter. I don't think it was a Chassid. It's a bisschen andere, but that's the way it says it over there. I heard now, but I heard a part like I heard from I heard this from your right. I forget who. Someone asked the Rebbe before Tashiyud. Asked the Rebbe this question. If that comes from the Kibbutz and Alter Rebbe. But and he said to the Rebbe this first beer. Yeah. Because that was the beer that each one weight was out of their head. And the Rebbe was shayl that. The Rebbe said, was Rab Chaim Avram hat nicht der Herz und der Rebbe Kadesh Yisrael. It was shayl. And the Rebbe said another beer, which is a third beer. The Rebbe said, the time when the time when the Askemes of Tanya were written, after the Stalkers of the Alter Rebbe, right? The Mittler Rebbe given Rebbe, when a Rebbe is done in the other sons couldn't write on the Alter Rebbe Kadesh Yisrael, yet it's the Mittler Rebbe Kadesh Yisrael. So the ain't Rebbe. But by the Mittler Rebbe himself, the Alter Rebbe bleibt the Kadesh Yisrael. Then the Rebbe said a similar thing in the gates. That's what the Rebbe said. Yeah. Sure.
How does the other one work?
What?
The first two Askemes were not written down. They were printed.
Sons of that was rated. They wrote that.
Okay.
It doesn't Askama that they wrote that when they printed the Kuntrasachin and the writing.
The second one was up.
Chaim Avram, because he said he was like the Kabbalah Tiraseh already from the Stalkos. But this is word, this is a myriad word. Yeah. The Rebbe spoke many times. But you have to remember, we all need brachas, and we should see the brachas, but we have our part is the Eibishter will take care of our gashmias. We have to take care of our neshama. We have the tools. We darf von aufheben sich. We darf von lernen und davenen. Und havani aftachpach. So the Rebbe said, we know by the court case, by the foreign. So the Rebbe told the lawyers that when he says the Rebbe the Shver Nesiderenu, it means himself. Hold on, what's to the lawyers? What? What?
Why would they know that?
What?
When he tells them that, when he tells them what to say.
It was Negia for Gakfsig, I forget. Das heißt, the Mittler Rebbe, the other Rebbe, the Mittler Rebbe wrote Kadesh Yisrael and the Alter Rebbe.
Slow down. Slow move.
When the Mittler Rebbe was Rebbe, so by everyone Kadesh Yisrael, the Mittler Rebbe, only the Mittler Rebbe writes Kadesh Yisrael and the Alter Rebbe, but the others can't. What? I don't remember that. Marana Rabbana was something like a Reb Chaim Avram was Mekabo Reiv Teiraseh already not from the Alter Rebbe because he was younger.
So therefore,
I'm sorry, not Reb Chaim Rambam, Reb Moshe.
so therefore,
And therefore, he didn't write Marana for Antonis because his learning was mainly from the Street Rebbe. I think something along those lines.
what's the
It's a different,
Rabbi?
what?
Like he wrote a Rabbi.
That's why he wrote a Gaina Chos, he didn't write Marana for Rabban. But the first word was a Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, the Nisham Chadasha. But now there's the Mittel Rebbe. The Mittel Rebbe is Yetzer Rebbe. A Rebbe is done Arena. And I want to tell you a story about this. Rav Shlomo Karliner, Rav Shlomo Karliner had a certain village that where he used to visit, and he had young light there that he was encouraged to Chassidus. Climb. Oh.
So what?
What do you say?
Maybe I would have got it, but probably not. I had to be hidden. Their shivers weren't allowed to know about it because there would be a very big danger for them and everything. So, but they joined. They started learning Chassidus and they started acting Minhagi Chassidim, and they had one of the times that Shlomo Karliner came to the village for this Chassidim work. And, they were preparing for him. They knew that he's going to come and he's going to want to go to the mikveh. So the mikveh was a boil, a well. The well is cold water. So for Rav Shlomo Karliner, they wanted to warm it up to prepare for it. So how did they heat it? They boiled up pots of water and poured it in. That there was something in there before they poured it. And then they realized oh, fun. His whole body was burnt with a lean. It was a double sakana. One sakana that danger level, and there was another danger that because he's sick, the secret could get out. So they're all in danger that their families find out as he's in the car. So they brought him to Rav Shlomo Karliner when he came. Here's my son. Yeah.
We're ready to go.
They brought him to Rav Shlomo Karliner. Shlomo Karliner gelegt sein heilige Hand. Wherever he put his hand, wow. Yeah. The next year, Shlomo Karliner came again to visit that village. This chassid came to him. He said, I'm that chassid was das gehört, aber bin ich gehe zu Chassidus, habe ich jetzt für andere Rebbe, because in the meantime, Alter Rebbe came to visit the village in China, and they all went to Alter Rebbe. But this is the story, the way it says it by a very parallel brings the story. Could be supported. But then I heard another nusach. I had two other nusaches in the story. I want to tell you one of the other nusaches. The other nusach I heard in the story was one of the other stories that what happened was that there was a Lubavitcher who lived in that village, and he was in the mikveh, but then they didn't realize it, and they poured the water. They didn't realize. And they pulled him up. He was already a army. It was a corpse. It wasn't no blood, but he didn't know what to do. They killed the person. Aber Chassidim schrecken sich nicht echt von the story with Alter Rebbe. The Rebbe had a chassid. Find me where this was. The Rebbe had a chassid. Was a big deal. And this chassid funded, when the Alter Rebbe was running away from Napoleon, this chassid funded most of it. He was a big deal. And this Machzach the chassid had a Rebbetzin who was a nagging, he had a nagging wife that didn't like whenever he gave money, whatever it is. So once, once the chassid was, his wife was bothering him, was nagging him. What's the wife?
The wife,
What's the wife?
how was that story?
Bechlal. Wife represents the state of things. The wife is the good enough for Shabbat. And that nagging is always. We have to decide. We have to know how to.
I identify as the group of Shabbat.
It is sometimes like that. I think about a Pinchas Reis. You so the chassid, I guess sometimes the only way to deal with it is like it says, yeah. No, you have to show it. I should do it like a lamachab. You know, there's a word from Chassidim. It says in Tanya that when there comes a machshava zara, techeyu b'shtei yadayim. So Chassidim, what's mean techeyu b'shtei yadayim? So there's three answers that I heard. Maybe there's more. I heard three answers. One answer was what's techeyu b'shtei yadayim? That sometimes comes a machshava zara. In order to fight it, you have to use side the koyach, the midas hachesed and the midas hagvura. Those are the shtei yadayim, the minus swear. That's the go with the guys. Look out there with the chiyuv b'shtei. Machshava shtuk me doch nicht getrennt. Das will look out there b'shtei yadayim. B'shtei yadayim, that's the go. Then there was another answer. The Vedic answer was when someone is coming Shabbos, yeah. And forget, he's going to turn on the light, yeah. Hey, Shabbos, yeah. Shabbos, oi, he pulls back with the ganze Etzem. Das the Chayim b'shtei yadayim, his whole thing goes away. That way to the guys. Aaron Ginsburg from Borough Park has a sort of Farbrengen. But this is the third answer. He said, the Chayim b'shtei yadayim. Messiah the Rebbe, remember how the Rebbe stood by us, Farbrengen, so I confess, when we paid the head, hey, to do fake picture of the Rebbe, and with these stay a dying, the Chayim, the Chayim stay a dying. This guy, I'm always, yeah, this guy can Andre, so she's nagging him, and he's pushing her. He's pushing her, and they were on that porch on the second floor, second story of the house. It doesn't mean he's just trying to be free from sometimes he's mixing me more. And by unintentionally, he pushed her off the porch.
Well,
and she fell down, and she fell. Usually that's the end. The end of the story with the Marash. But the chassid from Yitzchak. The Ramal is the
So still.
After this is that Rabbi saying that training in the Chayim. If we take advantage, Chassidus brings us the Erev Chayus Nafsheinu on Afilu Chatzisholem Abamina Vet was in the Mechanish Spog. So Chassidim by Rav Shlomo Kalina, so this is Spog waren. They took the corpse and they brought it to the room where Rav Shlomo Kalina was supposed to stay. When I read it like after bed, where did I schlafen? But let him deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, he's the one who could deal with it. So Rav Shlomo Kalina came, he told him, I guess, the story that happened. So they went into the room.
the picture of people.
Yeah, and he also did it. Yeah, that's it.
The garbage.
It's a garbage. But the chassid sat up in the bed.
Huh?
The chassid sat up in the bed. You know about the chassid.
That's version.
And they're looking at each other. And there's a silent conversation. Let's decide the conversation. Schlimm, Kailina sagt, du darfst doch jetzt werden mein Chassid, aber ich hab dir noch keine Mäßig. You owe me your life.
I always got my life.
Yeah. And the
My
Chassid,
mind is way wrong. Wow, wow.
finally, so the Chassid, in this nusach, the Chassid said to him, Mechaya Mesim kannst du, aber a Rebbe is donarin. Mechaya Mesim kannst du, aber a Rebbe is donarin. And the sequel to the story is, there was a Chassid, his name was a real sinner. It was, he went through different crises and different circles till he ended up in the Babish. Very young, right? He was sick, and he felt that he was sick, that there was a k'peda from someone something that he rejected. So he said this story then. He said, doesn't matter. Now the Rebbe said, why does the Mittler Rebbe write K'desh Yisrael and the others don't write K'desh Yisrael, but the Rebbe is done arena? What's meant that Rebbe is done arena? That's the whole point of Tanya. That's the Haskama. That's the third. That's the third Haskama we learned today. As a Rebbe is done arena, that is the definition of Pada B'Sholim. Yechida ki berabim hayu imadi gilui hayechida yechida may stuck in under the zach. Not that there's a struggle, not a p'diya b'derech milchama, not that every time I have to make a decision. So ich nachleif from Welt, oder nachleif from Davening, oder nachleif from Elokos. Hishaina yechida liyachtach. Yechida means is alei v'yachid. With Aveinu, La'avo, Yirish Maviyach, means it's alone. The Einzach and the stuff came under the Zach. The third Askama brings out a Rebbe is done Areiner. When a Rebbe is done Areiner, that Koyach, that tuning in with the Yechidish Benefesh, that's the third gift, the Koyach from Avart Chassidus, for learning Chassidus, that accesses the Yechidish Benefesh, that connects us, that we live at that level as under Zachen ben Mishta. There was a group of the third Gersa is a third Gersa I heard that he told him Nusach in Ukrainian that
Something important.
yeah, I don't know the word. The translation was the master is a master but not mine. And the servant is a servant, but not yours. But that was the taken that he said, I'm not, it doesn't have that line. I said,
Isn't that the holy where he fell out of the wagon?
what?
Isn't that where he fell out of the wagon?
Okay. I forget what I wanted. Oh, so there was a Jew. His name was Yehuda Leib Fisher, and he changed his name to Yehuda Leib Maimon because he became a Mizrahi and he wanted to become Hebrew-ized. And he was a big Talmud Chacham actually, very learned, but day is Kesvis, and he made a lot of problems for Gedei Yisrael because of his negative day. And at one point in Fatima, they wanted to put a ches on him. So too forgiving for now.
He lives right next door.
Yeah. Well, he was foreign. And they wanted to get back, they wanted to get cooperation from the Gedei Yisrael. They sent a delegation from Fatima Chassidim to the Rebbe that they should get okay, they should get that the Rebbe should back them, should work with them. So they came into Yechidim. They told the Rebbe what they're coming for. The Rebbe said, talking about the person. And they said who it is. And the Rebbe said, they're doch nicht da. In those days, you didn't have minute by minute WhatsApp updates of everything. They thought that something could have happened during their trip that they didn't hear. So the other said, Lubavitch, Rebbe told them, so they asked him, when das geschehen? Right? When das geschehen? So the Rebbe said to them, sind Tafresh Pezayim, when there is a race on Kegel the Shver, is gestorben. They went back to Satmar, they said they saw the Rebbe is not Chasach aggressive Kalayich's day. We have to know that everything was is nicht the Rebbe or the Eberste or Dinen, the Eber, the Teiro, Mitzvahs is nicht da. It doesn't exist. And that's in the Chida L'Yachta. Chaim L'Yachta.
What does that mean?
Why is there a rule? Because we didn't learn for Chassidus. When we learn Chassidus, it's not going
You're able to drive? You're driving. You're able to drive?
What's the question of Shabbos?
There are a lot of questions. I want to share.
And the help.
I'll share you with my
Don't share enough. Talk.
I want to tell you Agdom. When I got sick 3 years ago. I don't know when I got sick. I got sick in sickness. The sicknesses that we were caught in Ilam Haza, where they say singularly, where Chayla, they state in Chassidus, the Dreife Chaylim, Chayla is some in Marla Mosek, where we think that what's important is Nachleif and Abyssal Taivas Ilam Haza and running after the pleasures of the world, and some in Marla Mosek, Mosek Lamar, and so that Chayla has been around for a long time. Akapanim, it took like 2 months, 3 months after I got my diagnosis, and then until they started chemo. First, I didn't have any. I was fine. My doctor found things. I wasn't suffering. By the time they started chemo, I was having these certain. Baruch Hashem, they did chemo, and the chemo had tremendous results. So when I started chemo, there was a trial that was available. Trial means there's a special new treatment that's very positive, and if you get on it, in the trial, but So you have to, they make a girl. The trial has two arms. It goes together. Regular people treatment and then you get this new special one. That's how it works. That's how it's a study. They made the girl, and when me came out, that I get regular chemo. My family was peace mensch. Here we got in the trial, and I'm hoping that the trial, I'm gonna get the special thing. I got the regular. The regular chemo had tremendous results for me. But we wanted to get even better, this special thing. And after 2 months, they were able to switch us to the other one. They switched us, and the other one, after I was feeling terrible, but because of 2 months to be tested, 2 months, everything came back and spread and became worse than when I started. Hyperprogression, whatever it is. So the thing, Alpi Derech HaTeva, I could have been finished 3 years ago. I'm saying this because in every step I saw, whatever the doctor said, whatever the hospital said, and therefore, whatever, I don't know what the plan is. Yeah, the plan is, I know the plan. This is just a background. So a few months ago, Shmuel's time maybe, they had another trial they wanted to put me on. They're putting me on different treatments. This trial was a T-cell treatment, which means they take out certain cells from my blood, T-cells, billions of T-cells, and they genetically modify them and put them back in me. And it's supposed to be a treatment that then you don't need chemo anymore because your cells fight the disease. There was a stage 1 study trial, so it was but still they were so optimistic about it, and many people weren't eligible, and I was eligible. This was just a few months ago. Wow, it was amazing. And I had to go through tests and lung tests and heart tests, and I got on it, and they put in a catheter, and they took out my blood, and they took out my T cells, and I found a bag with a little blood. They told me this has 2 billion T cells in it. But I was good that they modified them, they brought them back, and then after that, I had a whole deterioration. It's a long story. I suddenly became ineligible. I had a bunch of other problems. They said, for now, revival, I wasn't eligible. Not only that, my doctor started being pessimistic. He started worrying. This was this summer through Tishrei. Then after Tishrei, Baruch Hashem, things started moving up again. This was a whole kafakela. There's a point in this. This is now recently, mamish recently, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe. I was doing Baruch Hashem very well, and I'm doing now even better. But I was doing very well, and my blood counts were up again. One of the things, my problems was the hemoglobin and the red blood, my blood cells up. So I'm eligible again to go back in the trial. They could give me the T cells and finish off what they started. Made it. Till then, my doctor spoke, maybe sometime, whenever things were good, he said, maybe sometime in the future we can get you back. And I said, next week I'm going to speak to the trial doctor. Your blood counts are good. Maybe a week and a half ago, everyone is excited. I'm going back on this trial. He says, the trial doctor called me. He says, they don't want to take you on. What happened? It's a new trial. In the meantime, between Shavuos and now, there's new data. 2 of the people in the trial died. They died because their blood counts went down and they couldn't get them back up. So that particular risk, that's exactly the risk that I had. They said they can't put me on it. Now they see the risks more. And so I'm off that. I went back, they put me back on chemo. I'm Baruch Hashem. The way I am now, I haven't been this good in a long time. Baruch Hashem. Not according.
All came shoulders.
Yeah, amen. But my son calls me right after the doctor called me for the trial. The kindness of David, that he made this whole delay, and because of the delay, maybe it saved your life because you would have gotten a trial that could have. Now we have more data. I don't like that explanation. But you didn't have to put me on in the first place. To put me on and then give me, when I went off it was tremendous, the hardships that made me ineligible. You got some nice, just to save me from it, don't put me in the first place. I want to say another explanation of what happened over here. It's a story. There was a couple. I heard the story. I'm going to tell you the mucker because I made it because myself. But I heard it first time. There's a guy in Buffalo, Penny Young, a doctor. I was involved with him when it started.
Yeah, well.
And he told me the story. He heard it from someone who was one of the Bali Hamaisa, but he heard it Lamish firsthand. So there was a couple after the war survivors, and they were in a deep camp, and they're looking to rebuild their lives after the war, after everything that they suffered and they endured. And at one point, the wife started experiencing stomach pains. And she went for tests to a doctor, a German doctor in the camp. The doctor says you need surgery. And the surgery is going to, there's no chance of having children, but you have to have the surgery process. They're looking to build a family now, and to hear such a thing, they were devastated. So they went to other doctors, and they went to more doctors. And every doctor that they went to said the same thing. I don't know if I'm remembering all the details, but what the relevant details is this. They ended up in New York, I think Mount Sinai, and a big specialist. And the big specialist tells them not only were all the diagnosis, everything that every doctor told you was correct, but at this stage, if you don't, your surgery is even going to be hard pressed to save your own life. You've got to do that surgery right now, and there's nothing to discuss about children because they were broken, they were French. Came out from this doctor. And there in the hospital, they met a Lubavitcher. And he asked them, why are you so down? What happened? And they tell him, and Kitzer tells him he has to go to the Rebbe, go to the Lubavitcher. You got to Yechidus. Try anything. Yechidus, so the Rebbe speaks with them by Yichus. He asked them about their situation. And he asked them about P-Camp. And he asked them the name of the doctor who they visited in P-Camp. And then the Rebbe says to her, are you sure that you want to have children? Think about it and decide. If you want, you could do it. But the only way to do it is to make a chalip. Make a chalip. And the Rebbe said, don't feel bad about it. You know what the Germans did to us? Don't feel bad about it. But yeah, we wanted to do it. But the doctor died. And the disease disappeared. 1 second, listen. The disease disappeared. The disease disappeared. He had, I think, 5 children. And I want to tell you, before I continue, I want to tell you another story. Wow. Reb Meir Mishlam was very close with the Sheil Meshiv. They became close. The Sheil Meshiv developed a tremendous respect for Reb Meir. He was a Litvisher. And once the Sheil Meshiv, Rav Yosef Shaul Nathan, and he was by Reb Meir together with his son, I think. And while he was visiting Reb Meir, a lady comes in crying, She says, my husband is a goises.
Huh?
My husband is a goises. He's on his deathbed. And she's asking for a bracha. But Meir says, go home, it's fine. She walks out, and they start laughing at him. He's a goises, and they say, go home, it's fine. What is this? A half hour later, an hour later, whatever it is, she comes back. She's thanking for the brachas, Baruch Hashem. Her husband got up. Und they lachen schon nicht, right? I said to him, how do we do it? We learn the tricks of the trade. Yeah? So he said to them, I'll answer you, but if you could first answer me a question in a Mishnah. Question in the Mishnah. It says in the Mishnah, Rab Chanina ben Deisa, haya mispalel ala chaylim tefillah k'tzara. People will come to he was davening, vaya emer zeh chai v'zeh meis. So they said, how do you know? Im shkura tefillah si b'fi yedei anishu mekubel, v'im lav yedei anishu meturaf. Yeah, that's the Mishnah. So he asked them, Meila zeh chai mekubel. Sie nicht mit Kuhl, so gar nicht. Was darfst du sagen, ist Meis? Was darfst du passen? But they said, it's a Meir, they didn't think of it. A very good question. So he told them, sometimes a tzaddik sees that the only way to save someone, their chayv is a Meis. Machin HaChalip. The word, Shabbat HaMokeh Shadar. So that's the story. The story with Rameiro, the story with the Rebbe, Meir the Gemais. Yeah. So first of all, that's my explanation. I don't know who the people who died are, but I'd like to believe that they were Nishki Yidun, Nishki Tzadikim, or Nishki Das. And if there was a purpose, that would be a purpose. And what? Hello, Herr. But I want to say, but I want to tell you, that's an Ageya Shalom and Abidas Hashem. I'm all felt the Leviticite. Yutas Kislev is Vechayus Nafsheinu Niten Lanu. That means it's Negeya Tas as bei uns im Leben soll sein wichtig. As bei uns im Leben soll sein lebendig. That when we come to, when we stellt sich zu davening, when we come to do a mitzvah, when we come to do something that the Rebbe wants from us, when we come to make a dira b'tachtenim, is das mit lebendigkeit. It's with neshama. The Frierdiker Rebbe said, what's the difference between a chassid and a misnagid? He said a misnagid is the podyet. That a misnagid is like a portrait. It has everything. Everything is in the right place. The nose is there. The eyes is there. Aber es lebt nicht. When a chassid lebt, is a lebendige Zach. But as it felt the chayus, sometimes the zeh chayv is a mace. Zeh chayv is a mace means it's not, in order to get the chayus, that from a bissel tanech in hagid in the nefesh habahamis. You have to work on yourself. Amol darfen sich abrechtan. That's part of Chassidus. And when there's the zemes, me kann sich nicht allemal nachgeben. And when I work on myself, when there's an avodah, each one, we don't have the avodah maybe like it was by Chassidim Amal. But we're not exempt. We were never given permit. We were never free from any part and any aspect of limud achsidus and darkei achsidus. When I says Ozaina chayus in Torah, when I chayus in limud Torah, when I chayus in limud achsidus, you have to know sometimes that's ein the zemes. Sometimes if I listen that the nefesh habahamis is the problem, that I'm letting it be too healthy and too comfortable and too filled with pleasure. Giving sich nicht nach. Take away a harala. Sometimes break it a little bit. That automatically enhances the chayus and kedusha, the chayus with the nefesh halaki, The chai is from living with ein igmavade. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Wow!
But you get involved, maybe we can help this situation.
You're not gonna help nothing.
Maybe we can help.
Yeah, we could help. Mit leinen Chassidus, Davening, Chassidim, better Chassidish Yidden. Pick ourselves up higher, we pick up the whole world with us. Binosse Achayis, Yinosu Eifanime ala Aretz. Hebt sich auf die ganze Welt. Not only that, not only that. Whatever you're talking about, it's linked to the news, and linked to the north. Yeah, they're all waiting for us. Who's gonna pick it up? Russia, Ukraine, Biden, Trump,
Triggering words.
What?
The issue is,
Fauci,
One more move. You have one move, you get another. Yeah. So that's it, ignore it still?
Not ignore it. What do you mean ignore it? Change it. But not change it. What does it mean? Let me that. Yeah, let me that. One second. So, no. First listen. Then you make another comment. I don't know how far time it is. Listen. We learn because Kislev is part of B'Sholem Nafshi. What does it mean, part of B'Sholem Nafshi? I want to ask,
Ah,
it's a tzvi. Which one of us, asking myself, I'll ask you, which one of us now, this year, learned up Sapata Bishol in Maimer for Yittas Kislev or for Yit Kislev, what? It's not too late, because there's 2 days for the Yontif, right? We're still part of the Yontif. Which that's also, wie verstehst du das jetzt von Zvi? Was meint das, that Alter Rebbe said that 3 hours by the Misnagis was worse than the 53 days? Was hat er schon getan? So he screamed at him, Naritzach, Menachem, was meint das? I deal with Misnagdim all the time. What? A Misnagid is a dover, Bizuam. The Friedrich Rebbe was by Asifas Rabbani, and he was together with the Rebbe Rashab, and he was being Mishamish Reb Chaim. No, but this was a different time. Reb Chaim was talking to the Rebbe Rashab. Reb Chaim Brisker was talking to the Rebbe Rashab, and at the Tilt Avaisa. He said, last night we were busy till very, very late with Askanos. So this morning I woke up late with you. He didn't chas v'shalom Krishma, but it was so late that he had no choice. He had to say Krishma in bed in his pajamas.
Wow.
It's nicht zu verspätigen ins mein Krishma. That's Reb Chaim. What's the equivalent of that? What's the mashal ma'ad over dema? Just this is a der chaga. My was good. What? The mashal ma'ad over dema is one of our things. The man will say, "Oh, I woke up late." Say l'chaim, and I said to someone who was in yeshiva, the first bacher in my yeshiva, the first bacher, okay, it doesn't matter.
Say, over here.
The first bacher in my yeshiva that came to me with a question once, that for whatever reason in his life and in his situation, shlichus is not going to work to start. And I asked to go into. And whatever he was discussing, I said to him, whatever that was, I said, if you go into business, but you have to realize, when you go on shluchas, so sometimes you have a lot of justifications, excuses for a lot of things. I'm a shliach. Kann ich das nicht tun? Ich habe nicht Zeit zu davenen. Ich sage, das part of You're going into business because you think that's what you have to do, but then you have to know that you're going to das to sein achsidish in the man, way, move on a mila, all the things that a chassid has to be, no exemptions and no excuses. Anyways, Reb Chaim said to the yeah. Reb Chaim said, you understand this or not? Reb Chaim said to the Rebbe Rashab, he said, Krishma in his pajamas. The Friedrich Rebbe was there, was a bacher, and the Friedrich Rebbe heard that. Steiner at the like I'm smagid is at over or another nusach, he said, I'm snagish Krishma. Rebbe Chaim Brisker, the Rebbe Rashab right away started verempfling sich. Yeah. But Reb Chaim said to him, oh, he said, so he started verempfling sich, hat das nicht gemeint. So Reb Chaim said, so beseder wird es jeden. Something like that. I don't remember how the story came in, so I'll tell you another story. The Radat was by the Asif, he used to go to the Asif. And Reb Chaim was very impressed with him. And he read a shidduch between Reb Chaim and Reb Chaim's daughter, heißt das Chaim's daughter, and that's and so it's the daughter. So the yes. So the dad sent his daughters to check out the girl. To go check out the girl. So they came back in Brisk. They pride themselves on their Krishna. They came back. They went to check out the daughter. They didn't go to for her. But what was there wasn't. So they came back. They said, "Zayin Krishna Kopish Sudayin Asher Yatsa." How did we come to the story of the Shritik?
Say about the Sifu. You started saying about the Sifu.
So the show should be
Before that,
Yeah, but the Akoponim, the Indian is as we have learning Chassidus, and we have Davening, and we have L'chaim U'bracha.
We'll be right back.
I'm snagging it at Dr. Mizu and the Kawasaki. That's what the Fifth Center of Chaim. I've removed us out. 3 hours by a snagging is worse than the 53 days. But it's a constant when there's Taylor Sachsidis. How does it, what does it, how does it make sense? What's it? How do you geschrien? That because of that would make an extra day of allemaal good to maken nog een Farbrengen, tegen de tamet, en nog een tag, en nog een yontif, en nog een tag, yeah, but what is the pshat? And these 3 days is worse than everything. Yeah. 3 hours, I'm sorry, yeah. How is it worse? What's the geschender? What? What? Alter Rebbe. Why for Alter Rebbe was it worse? When the Alter Rebbe was in prison. But when the Alter Rebbe was in prison, Teres Achsidus was in danger. The Baal Shem Tov was in danger. And this let me later. Talk with Chaim. I'm good. I want to illustrate what you're saying with the story. There was once 2 brothers, and every time there's a story of 2 brothers. So one is rich and one is poor. Yes, one is rich and one is poor. So once the rich brother was making a chasana. The rich brother is making a chasana. So the poor brother is getting ready, preparing for the chasana. To have a chance to have a proper meal. Yeah. 2 days before the chasana, because what is he going to eat? His garbage that he has at home. He knows he's getting a proper meal by the chasana. Hat nicht gegessen, wart auf der Chasne, wird sein dort, na, ja, Smorgasbord und alle Sachen. Ja, der Melech war mal. Bei hier, it comes the Chasne, die ganze Stadt ist dort, was noch die Tür verstanden.
Ever see that story?
Wow, wow.
There was more than one set of two brothers in this. Good.
Tell me, the question.
Chaim, yes, okay.
Very nice, very nice.
Hot is like this, Shalom. When Shazar came to the Rebbe, came to America, and went to the Rebbe, the president of Israel, and the politicians in Israel. Yeah. But when he ended up coming to the Rebbe, the first thing he said was, it was Yud Shvat time, and the Rebbe came out of 772, and he says to the Rebbe, one more time, and he said to the Rebbe, he says, Sagrisa killed the Rebbe. Says, that killed Sagita Rein in the Bina. The Rebbe right away said to him, when you shook the Shabbos for Yidden after God to machen. What? The Rebbe, when you shook the Shabbos for Yidden after God to machen warm. That's a haste, that's mir sind das zu machen warm. Kein Rebbe. So,
There's one before me, the two brothers.
so it comes the Chasna, he goes to the Chasna, finally after 2 days, and he's going to get his meal, a Chaim Rebbe. And, but the problem is, everyone else is not fasting, so no one's in a rush. So they're making the Kabbalah's Panim, and they're standing around and talking, and the meal is not starting. No one's running to the meal, and he comes and say, "Look, yeah, finally he can't wait anymore." Runs home. He has to hold his body and soul together. Doesn't catch me. So he runs home and he opens up his closet. He takes out his rotten piece of herring and his rotten piece of out the mashke, sour wine, just at least to have something in his body. And fine. So he's and he goes back, and finally he gets back, and the meal starts. It's a ganze chasna with a book, and then there's the appetizer. Wasn't the appetizer, but someone once came to a chasna. By the way, someone once came to a chasna. Where's Shalom? Someone once came to a chasna. Shalom Berveshetsky was sitting there, and there was condiments. Yeah. So one of the things that was on the table, they pickled a slab of margarine. A slab of margarine. Yeah. And he's und sagt so den Geschmack. Sagt ich will ja, wenn kalt wird, dann ist dann besser. Ja, he thought it's ice cream. Aber ich bin kalt gegangen, aber so the chasna, so the guy is by the chasna, and he has the food, and he has the soup, and he has the mushrooms, and he has the main course, the duck, and finally the dessert, the ice cream. But this guy has a very delicate stomach, man. Finally, it comes over there. I can't finish private chazara. Everything comes back out. His stomach can't handle it anymore. No, the brother is a Zaina brother. Yeah, the Bala Simcha. So what do you do? Help him. You have to. So it comes out in the opposite order. There is ice cream. There is finally there is the vocal one. And the brother is, Baruch Hashem, we're at the end of the ordeal. That as an end comes some rotten fish. He said, this is not mine. This is Yisrael Shimon. Alter Rebbe said, Mela, when I was 53 days in prison, there was a kitrug l'mayla. There was a reason for it. We made a revolution. We were Megala l'kusim Welt. There was a Gili Hatzmos. There was a Gili from the Etzem from Teira. The Gili Pnimius Teirase. Then that kitrug. So for this, Tzadkidar Zayim Mesiras Nefesh. Good. It was a danger, it was a suffering, it was Yisurim, but it was for a reason. But now it was Chufshanitnale. Now it was already Nigzer Mumayla that Chassidus should be Nizgala. Weiter, was schreist du weiter? Was tust du weiter? Das aggressor Yisurim. Das now this for no reason. So this is not this is your own rotten fish. That's aggressor Tzara na Yisurim from the whole Golok of the mind. Once upon a time, even the Escher haben gesündigt. Once upon a time in history. Kann sein, einmal haben sie Escher gehabt, machshav besorgens bei David. But there was a reason for it. They didn't have the tools. They didn't have chassidus. They didn't have that force and that empowerment as the nefesh alakis zal uitgeleest werden van de milchamis van de nefesh abahamis pade b'shalom nafsh. So, whatever, that was the situation. They were in Golos. Once upon a time, so. Yes, he said before the people who were Chitzeni bad. But still people lived with Chitzenis. They didn't have a pneumistic connection with the Holocaust, but there was a reason. It wasn't possible to have a pneumistic connection with the Holocaust. But today, if I get up and I didn't learn Chitas, and I didn't learn Avart Chassidus, and I didn't work to think Chassidus before davening, to try to daven based on what I learned in Chassidus, to try to daven that the words should mean something to me according to what I learned in Chassidus, that it should be Emes V'yatziv, like you said, that it's Korei V'lecha Hadovar Ma'ei, not just Beficha and Masoise, but B'uvavcha, and das is my Gishmak, das is my Ziel, das is was mir Negeya. There's no excuse. It's because I'm not taking advantage of what I have, because I have it. My own rotten fish. That's the bigger Yisurim. That comes Chav Kislev. After you test Kislev is a Gili Mumayla. Mumayla, they passed in Mutter Legali, so it's a Chachma. Chav Kislev says, okay, so if that's the case, then it has to make a difference in my life. Then I have to use that out. I have it. Then how come I have to be living Chassidus? I have to be learning Chassidus. I have to make sure that my years believe in Chassidus and without Chassidus. The Rebbe once said to someone. First of all, that's the Shia is Halavai. Yeah. Go Halavai. Yeah, do it. We're not talking nice words. I never said something like that. Someone said to the Rebbe Halavai or something. And the Rebbe went from Mashiach. I don't remember. Tell me the email. You're talking about clips by dollars. I want to finish with this thing. Yisrael Shimon. I saw something. I told you. What do I do now? I lie in bed. I watch what. But that was in the past to me. But I'm going back. I am. What am I? One second.
I'm going to start believing if that happens. When that happens.
But
still in my hands.
Someone went to the Rebbe, the guy with an apache. What? You notice? You saw this? He's, sorry. So say it. I don't remember the asked the Rebbe for, maybe I could just look at it.
Which one, the baby carriage?
Yeah, oh. So I don't know where it came from. What?
What do you want?
They got what they wanted. But
They were gave him after the shows.
but what do we, how do we get that today? How do we get that
I give
today?
up. How do we get that today?
This guy didn't do anything for it.
No, he just knew how to get his wife to get them from $1.
And he didn't give in, and he got it. He got it. But we could get this. The Rebbe is giving us everything today also. But today we have to do the avoid on our side. We believe in it. Not just he asked for it. Obviously, he also bought the wagon on our Gleben. On Gleben, not on Gleben High. When we have.
They knew where the address was.
There's a famous story. There was two women, like Baimer by the Rebbe. Like Baimer by the Rebbe was one of the times it says like and by the Rebbe was also made the Kislev, especially in the Indian of there was, by the way, the story. There was one of the Lagbaimers. A lot of people gathered by the Rebbe's house. So they arranged that the Chavrei HaKollel should be in charge of making the Seder because there was a lot of people that year. One of the enlightened Kelo was Lady Book. Huh? Book from Massachusetts. And so the Kelo, like their job was they to make a Seder. So he was a little shocking there. Well, he didn't care, but he wanted to be part of it. But he gave him a job also. His job was gonna walk through the people, a lot of people there. The second the Rebbe goes into the car, he should close the door. That was his job. That it was Mamish Ahimu during the Rebbe answered some people, didn't it? There was people published and the Rebbe took a few minutes for the Rebbe to get through all the people who came there. And finally the Rebbe came to the car. And the Rebbe went into the car. Now it's his job to close the door. Last second before he closed the door, I sat in there, plus I got stuck his head into the car. Wow. So now he has to hold the door open and there's pushing, but now he has to use his full strength because otherwise this guy's gonna be cut in half. So he holding the door and he did. I stick his head in. And he asked the Rebbe for bracha for kids, like everyone else was there. And the Rebbe says to him, "Darf doch haben mit wem zu spielen." And that's like the Rebbe. And the Rebbe says to him, "Sag Amen." He said Amen.
Oh.
And that was it. And he said Amen. He pulled his head out, and the door slammed. 14 years later, he was in jail. And and they're learning And they looked familiar, the father. And the class, I thought were very easy to understand. And they're meeting. And he goes over to him, and it's interesting to me. Don't look like a Lubavitcher, and he said, "This is a Lubavitcher Maimer." So the guy says, "You see these two Bachrim? That's the Rebbe's kinder." And he tells him that Lag and I was there. And the Rebbe says to me, and I asked for a bracha for children. The Rebbe says that after Chavim the German to spiel, I didn't know what he's talking about. He says, "Amen," and I said, "Amen." And 9 months later, we have twins. And these are the twins. So we're here. He turns out, he said, I saved your life. I saved your life. Yeah. I compared this was about the story, but another story. There was once two ladies. They went there to the other store. It wasn't such a big thing, but they went to Sozo Lavina. They wanted to get a promise for a child, and so they stood on the two sides of the Rebbe's door. Heard that the Shkin Sedition Tzveifrim. So the Rebbe can't go out and get a bracha for the.
That was the plan.
What?
That was just their plan.
That was their plan. That's what and they did it. They still. So the Rebbe came. The Rebbe can't go out. The Rebbe asked them what they want, and they said, one of them had a child that year. Didn't have a child that year. One that didn't have a child. The Rebbe said to him, "You have a case." Or whatever it was. Today also, the hashlich, our mindset to know as nishtakin welt, that everything comes from the Eibush. That's what the Rebbe wanted this guy to have that realize, this uplink. For him it was easier because he's hearing it from the Rebbe's mouth directly. But we have to do it by bringing it out by ourselves.